Well, good evening, folks. I see Adele's with us first. Sean's in the house. This is a celebration of our community and all the wonderful partners that are a part of it. Those were just a sample of some of the fantastic people and products that we are honored to represent. And we've got three gents that are going to be joining us momentarily to show us a whole bunch of stuff about their product as well as their journey, their passion, and what have you. Tony, I saw your comment in regards to John Tavares. First and foremost, Steve brought it to my attention that how dare I book something like this on a night that the Leafs are starting, or Habs, depending on what fan you are, the night that they're starting their playoff series. My apologies. But as I said, I want to take nothing away from the three gents that have offered their time tonight and are going to be coming on here. Charles Durachi, this was all spawned by you. This is what you had envisioned, and we are trying to bring it to life. And I want to thank Bill and Steve Shaw right off the bat, who I know are probably watching the game as they're doing this, but they're going to be putting up links. And as I said, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get to know our community, which is really what this was all about, a virtual trade show because of COVID. And that's the last time I'm going to mention it. Because it sounds as if things might be getting better. Obviously, for the Leafs, it doesn't look like that, as Tony has just mentioned, that Tavares was just stretchered off the ice. Yeah, that's not good. Daryl Nielsen, how you doing, my friend? As I said, David Speaker's in the house. How you doing? Go Leafs, go! Yeah, Steve, absolutely. So glad you guys are here with us again. We're getting to know new products, as well as people that have been around for a number of years with our community, and no one, and I mean no one, has been around longer when it comes to some of the products and individuals that we've had the I want to say astute honor to have with us. And let me introduce James Schembri from Got to Bite, who's definitely one of those. James, dude, we were talking just before we went live that you were here when we were using a camera phone, a tripod. It was bare bones, not a big budget to say the least. But you've seen everything sort of start from the ground up. When it comes to CFN, when it comes to the CFN Fish Off, you've been a fantastic partner through all of it, and provided us some fantastic products for our community and our participants. But I got to ask, James, first and foremost, as I do all of you incredible guests, tell us your story. How did you get into fishing, and what was that moment that you remember as a young child, a young man, that really sort of hammered home this whole thing when they talk about the passion for angling?
Well, when I was a kid, my family, my parents, my aunts, uncles, we used to rent a cottage up in the Halberton area every year for 2 weeks. So my dad and uncles would go fishing, and there was a little runt, even smaller than I am now, begging to go. And then I remember about 8 or 9, my dad let me tag along, no rod and nothing. Then I remember one birthday, 10 years old, my mom threw a birthday party for me. She goes, well, what do you want? What do you want? I only want a fishing rod. That's all I want. So and no one could ever hide a gift from me. Once they hid it and was under my bed the whole time, which pisses me off. Mom, if you're watching, I still remember. So on the 10th birthday, here I am with my friends, blew out the cake. Oh, what do you want for your birthday? So, I want that fishing rod. I said, check under your bed. And bang, there it was.
Wow.
So my birthday's in June. If anyone wants to give me a gift, 2 weeks. So we went out, and my dad spent a good hour casting, and I'm sure I learned a couple of good words back then every time I got a bird's nest.
Mm-hmm.
But I managed to learn how to cast and cast pretty far for a 10-year-old, and I was hooked. And then years gone by. Hey, Sean. My mom worked at Credit Valley Hospital in housekeeping, and she came home one day, and I think I was maybe 15, 16. She came home with these fishing magazines, and one of it one of which was the Field and Stream annual fishing, and there was a lot of DIY. And I'm looking at this, oh, this looks interesting. Hooked. So I learned to tie steel leaders from that point. That grew in me getting a cheapo vise. I said, stop making steel leaders. I said, what am I going to do with this vise? Let's tie some jigs. And started off with a brown and white jig. And we used to go up to, at that time, we used to go up to Little Lake and Berry. Then we used to fish the Kawarthas. I'd start casting this jig, and we're getting pike, left, right, and center, walleye with this one jig. And it got to a point where my brother wouldn't use anything but that one jig. Fast forward to about the age of 26, started making jigs. My brother said, oh, can you give me some jigs? Sure, no problem. He wouldn't keep them, would give them to his buddies. So that grew. All of a sudden, I'm spending $400 in jigs and not getting any for myself. So now my wife started complaining to her, well, I'm fostering all these jigs, and grew into trolling flies, and said, I'm not making anything, and I'm getting, deeper in debt. I said, why don't you start your own business? I said, nah, been there, done that, don't want to do it again. But people started asking me, so I said, let's give it a shot. And then it grew into got to bite, and here I am. And the one thing that I thought I would never be able to do, because I'm not independently wealthy, it allowed me to contribute to charities, to events that I thought I would never imagine. And I did my books just before tax season, and I ended up giving out close to what I sold in dollar value. So it's like, yeah, it's good, but it's also bad.
Well, yes, 100%, and I totally know where you're going. It's tough to sometimes justify, but this is why we do what this is. And of course, Charles and I and Bill after spoke about this at great length. And my number one focus was to have folks like you on here, because we know how giving you are, and it's your 15-20 minutes of fame. We give you the stage. We want to talk about your products so that folks who are from our community, who may not know what products you have, what you represent, can maybe get a feel for something that they might be interested in, or at least purchasing to help support the cause. Because listen, Jay, as we mentioned at the outset, you've been with CFN right from the get-go, and we can't thank you enough for your involvement. Now, speaking of your products, obviously based on where you just mentioned you started fishing, you eventually evolved into a salmon guy, and you do flies. But I'm interested, obviously you started with that jig, and take us from there and start showing us some of your products so we can get an idea of some of this gorgeous gotta bite stuff.
Well, let's start off with the flies. So I make trolling flies and Twinkies. These are Twinkies. And the Twinkies, if you can see them, there's 3 in a pack. Try to show them. These are about 3-inch Twinkies. So they have a head, and I'm hoping you can see they have eyes as well.
Yeah.
So when I started off making flies, believe it or not, it was around Easter, and my flies were made out of nesting material because I couldn't find a supplier. And I spent about a good year hunting down a supplier. Unfortunately, there wasn't any Canadian supplier, so my suppliers are in the States. Managed to get materials. Started off with actually trolling flies. These are about 4-inch flies. This is one that I just started promoting. It's a dirty gold, black and gold.
Nice.
So those are about 4 inches. From there, I was talking to a buddy of mine who owns Shortwave Marine. He said, why don't you try the Twinkie market? I said, well, I've tried it. Wasn't happy with the end result. He said, try it a different way. So I did some research, fooled around with the material I had, and I ended up developing this. And the unique part about my flies, the Twinkies especially, is they have a little bit of a tinsel collar. So the collars are holographic silver straight silver, gold, and kind of like a mirage color.
Now, would you put them in series, like one after another? Would you just troll one, or
Yeah, there's two ways to use these. You can troll them on their own, and I like trolling them with a treble. So normally I put it with roughly about a 6-foot leader. I'm a big proponent of having your leader no longer than the distance from your reel to the tip of your rod. The reason being, it's easier to handle the fish coming in. Couple of times I've tried to do it longer, and it was like the Three Stooges. I fish with my dad and my brother usually, and trying to net it. I remember one time I was on the rod, and my brother got a flasher upside the head, and it split him open.
Oh, jeez.
But we got the fish in the net.
That's the main thing. So obviously, for anybody who doesn't fish for salmon or target salmon, the idea obviously is you put that at the end of a flasher, and the flasher, as it twirls around, so do the Twinkies. Is there a time of year that you can use those, or that you like using those? And can you use a cut bait with them at all?
You can definitely use cut bait. That's called a meat rig. Normally on meat rigs, I start off with a 6-foot leader. Sorry, the Twinkies, I usually run about 4 feet. And between the flies, I keep about a foot distance. Some guys vary it. I like to keep it standard for myself. So yeah, with the meathead, you put that last or towards the hook end, and then you start your flies. Recently, I had a customer who asked me, and this is a philosophy I go with, well, can I run a 4-inch with the Twinkies? I said, why not? Try it. It might work. And it has. We've tried it once. I've also tried, believe it or not, doubling up the 4-inch. So, and I was going to tell them for a while, call that the Goliath, in which you put the 4-inch fly, a few beads, and another 4-inch fly. So you have roughly about 8 inches. And it ends up being a monster presentation. Up until a couple of years ago, it was not uncommon in the Great Ontario Salmon Derby to have the top 10 fish no smaller than 32 pounds.
Yeah, wow.
So you needed a larger presentation as well. That's why I came up with this monster. This is about a 6-inch, and I call it a magnum flying, just for comparison, the 6 to the 4.
Wow.
And that'll be for your larger fish. Unfortunately, in this material, there's limited number of colors, but I try to maximize the variance I can have. The one thing I do promote is a lot of my custom stuff. By that, I tell my customers, if you have a specific pattern you want, be it in a spoon, a dodger that you want me to match up, I can do it. I've actually had a few customers say, unfortunately, one of their fathers just passed. I made a memorial before, sorry, not memorial, an honorary fly for, he's a charter captain, Peter. And I named it after his father for him. And I did a little presentation for him. So I did that. I asked him, this guy is Greek, so I did in the Greek colors. Matt Bowman, who's one of my brand ambassadors, his grandfather put him into fishing. So I made a fly for his grandfather in his grandfather's honor. My uncle passed away in October, and I made a fly for him in his memory. He's an Australian. I made this for him. Ironically,
very similar
CFN
to the
colors.
Exactly. I was just going to say, and I'm darned to try. I feverishly tried to look for it, James, and I think we gave it away. I'm not sure where it is, but I do remember you making a CFN one in honor of us. But you do all this for the community that we're honored to be a part of, and I know Matt does some great stuff out with his clients, and of course his grandfather and his kids. As I said, the one thing I will say about the salmon community, it's a very tight-knit group.
Correct. As you know, we lost a couple of strong guys in the last couple of years. One being Wayne Andrews, who was a close friend of mine. Another one was Andrew Scar. So a few of his close buddies are running a memorial tournament, and I will be donating to that tournament. We lost another gentleman around the same time. Unfortunately, I can't remember his name, but Matt's actually one of the co-organizers of that. So we're going to be donating to that as well.
It really is awesome when the community gets behind efforts like this, because as I say, we all have varied amounts of passion. We all come from different journeys, but at the end of the day, we all have something in common, and that is the love of fish and the love of other people who fish. So when we lose one, it strikes a chord. So James, as always, you have been a true testament to the kind of mentor, the kind of individual we like to have associated with CFN and the community at large. There are questions coming in, one of which is, where did Got to Bite come from?
Oh, God. That is funny. I spent, ever since the idea of starting my own tackle business came to light, I struggled finding a name, and I was thinking, if I need a name, I need a logo. And I was working one day, and I was having computer problems. So while I was trying to shut down and restart about 3-4 times, started doodling. One thing I've always done is doodle. So I started doodling, and I drew a fish. I looked at the fish. I said, kind of looks like a G, the mouth. Well, if you go fishing, the one thing you hope for is the fish that got to bite.
Perfect.
I got to bite, and I just hand drew it. And
wow.
Like,
now, just like the passion of angling, it strikes a chord that quickly, and it's deep. It's usually very deep. And Got a Bite, it's got a beautiful ring to it, I should say. A couple other questions in regards to your Twinkies and your flies. Would they be effective for pike for folks up north who may not get a chance to target salmon?
I haven't heard anyone specifically using them for pike. The reason being, pike will destroy a leader. So if you do, I would suggest doing the Twinkie, but running a steel leader between the last Twinkie and your hook. And if you're going to do that, I would definitely suggest running a larger fly, be it the 4-inch standard fly or a Magnum, just because the hook won't be out there visible.
Now, I know you also make hair jigs and jigging style jigs as well. Those Twinkies or your flies, can you jig them? Adele is asking.
Not. You can try. Like I said, anything's worth a shot.
Amen.
What I would suggest doing is kind of caught me off guard there, Adele. By the way, I have your jigs here. What I would do is put a weighted or a weight or a sinker on your fluorocarbon. Put that between your bullet head and your hook. That way you have the weight. Now, the advantage of doing that is as you're jigging up, this will fly up, but your hook will stay down, and you'll end up having more of a flutter to it. So that it is possible. It's worth a shot. Why not?
Why not? Exactly. Kathy's asking us, tell them about Black Betty.
Okay. That's my wife. So
Black Betty or Kathy? Is Kathy or Black Betty your wife?
Kathy is.
There you go.
So unfortunately, my mother-in-law, who lived with us, passed away a few years ago. And she was a lovely woman. Great sense of humor. And even when she was in the hospital, this is her sense of humor and how much she didn't worry about herself. She worried about me. I had several orders on the go. There she was in ICU. She looked up at me and said, "Don't forget, you have orders to do." And it's like, that's the least of my concern. So unfortunately, like I said, she passed away. So I wanted to create a fly in her honor. So my mother-in-law loved the color black. She had silver hair, kind of like this.
Yep.
So I said, I have to thank the palliative care unit of the Oakville Trafalgar Hospital somehow. So what I decided to do is design a fly, and unfortunately, I don't have any with me right now, called the Black Betty. Tribute also to Ram Jam.
Yeah.
So I created the Black Betty, and all the proceeds, 100% of it went to Oakville Trafalgar palliative care unit. And from what I remember, there was a lot of people back me up, and I really can't thank them enough. Ended up raising close to $1,000, far beyond what I expected. And like I was saying before, this creating Got to Bite allowed me to do this. And I've always wanted to give back to the community. I did a lot of volunteer work in the past, and fishing has been a passion. So I figured combine the two. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And I'm sure my mother-in-law, Betty, had something to do with it.
It's awesome. Well, geez, man, I don't even know what to say after that. And I love when you guess, make me speechless, because that's an incredible and moving story, James. Before we say goodbye and watch you from the audience side very shortly, are there any specials on Got to Bite that you'd like to mention to our CFN community that are available right now, either on your website, through your Facebook page, or anywhere else for that matter?
My website's kind of old-fashioned. I don't have any current specials right now. I'm just trying to get caught up and getting geared up for the fishing season, but definitely stay tuned for specials. I got a couple tricks up my sleeve. If you don't mind, I do want to show you a couple things that will work right now.
Absolutely.
This little bugger, which
Nice.
is what I call a zonker minnow.
Okay.
And speaking of my wife, the first time I took her fishing, Lake St. Francis in Quebec, I gave her one of these to tie on. And so we're drifting in a small tinner. All of a sudden, bang. Well, I think I have one. And my wife doesn't sound like that. She's going to kill me when I go upstairs. So up jumps a 6-pound smallmouth. I'm going, oh, crap my pants, because I love smallmouth. My biggest has been about 2. So she looks at me, oh, it's kind of big. I'm going, yeah, it's kind of big.
Kind of big, yeah.
It spit the hook. Oh, crap. Before I can react, it ate it again. And she landed, and she's saying, oh, yeah, it is kind of big, I guess. I'm surprised she's not yelling at me right now.
Oh, I can hear her.
I know. If you see something flying, call 911. So actually, and this thing, believe it or not, I've caught pike up to 10 pounds on something like this around this time of year. The way I work it is I cast it out, obviously, and I twitch it. And it mimics a dying minnow, because I'm sure if you guys seen minnows on the surface, they'll go like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that works. With bug hatches, this is what I call a mayfly nymph.
Wow.
So this is 1/16 ounce. What else? I got some jig heads here. All my jig heads are lead free, so it's a bismuth tin alloy. And this is what I call blue Hawaii.
Nice.
A little chartreuse and blue. What else? I have a baby bass here somewhere, which I may have lost. 1 ounce perch.
Beautiful.
Unfortunately, I don't have. Well, this one you might like. Call it Little Wally.
Oof! Look at that. So.
And all these heads are available from as light as 1 ounce up to a full ounce. So every increment.
Incredible. Well, listen, James, as I say, I can't thank you enough. To your wife, Kathy, beautiful stuff right there. Do you paint all your own jigs?
Yeah, they're all painted with powder paint, hand painted.
Wow.
Not like Chuck, where Chuck is an airbrushing guru. I use a simple dollar store brush, and I paint them all by hand.
Beautiful. Well, as I said, from the outset, you obviously somehow found your passion for angling, and when you started Got to Bite, like most of our Mon Pa type operations, you want to foster and pass on that passion to others
Definitely.
by allowing them the ability to catch fish. And you're certainly doing your part. And as you just mentioned, you give away as much as you make. So, on behalf of all of us here at CFN and our entire community that's watching, buddy, we thank you. And we also thank Kathy, who's probably going to give you a slap or two, but we thank Kathy for allowing you to do what you do, and providing you the time. It's a special kind of woman that does that. So, Kathy, let's not forget about you either.
Happy hug.
That is awesome. Right on. James, salute to you, my friend. We'll be in touch. If you guys don't know, James will also be providing prizes to our CFN Fish Off, as he does in just about every opportunity he can. But look for his products, as Mike and I will be putting them on full display for the CFN Fish Off that we hope is going to be starting on the 2nd of June. Thanks so much, James. Appreciate you doing this.
Thanks, Scotty. Be safe, everyone.
Yeah, baby. Right on. I tell you, he's a true gem. I've had the pleasure of fishing with him and Kathy once. They're a lot of fun to be around and fish with. But we could have had James on all night, as we could have Rick as well as Jerry talking fishing, talking about what we love to do when we're fishing. But James is a very modest guy, and he got us involved, Red and I, in the very beginning with what goes on down at the Port Credit Marina. They have a pen down there that they put salmon in, and they grow them in front of the public, and groups of that membership go down, and they'll take turns feeding the fish, skimming off some of the dead ones. But at the end of the day, it's to add fish to our incredible system of water in Lake Ontario and all the tributaries that feed into it. But as I said, it is an incredible fishery, and we're lucky to have it. And it's because of guys like James and groups that James affiliated with that do all this fantastic work to provide the fisheries that we enjoy. So we didn't talk about it with James, but a big salute to James for all that work as well. Now, the next individual that we're going to be bringing on is, of course, Rick Shaver from Devil's Rock, and he gave me a video that he wanted me to show you guys. So as we're bringing Rick in, I will play this video. These are some of his products that are available to the public. I like one thing, and I will say this now that Rick is a part of the broadcast, that he definitely has walleye on the brain, much like myself. But yep, a lot of this stuff is geared towards toothy critters, and we love it. There's a brand ambassador or two. Brandy Eaton, we certainly recognize you as a great brand ambassador for any product company out there, including CFN and Devil's Rock. But let me introduce to our broadcast Rick Shaver. How you doing this evening, Rick?
Very good, Scotty. Thanks for having me.
Oh, not a problem. So we'll start basically down the same line as we did with James, and it's near and dear to our heart to have you fellas and lasses on that do this wonderful work behind the scenes, whether it's giving out product to CFN Fish Off initiatives or community events, like James mentioned. You do your fair share as well. But tell us what got you into angling, and give us one of those aha moments when it comes to delivering the passion for angling to you.
Well, I don't think I have such a story as James had, but I mean, he's been at it a few years longer than I have. When I was a kid, we went to a local lake, Lake Temiskaming, Buck Park as they called it, and we used to go there. Dad would cut off a branch. You'd use any type of line you had, you hook it up, throw it in the water with a hook, and flip over a couple of rocks and see if you get some worms or some bugs, some critters, throw it in the lake. And that's how we started fishing. We didn't have all the fancy things like we do now. Times have definitely changed. And then I got out of fishing for probably about 10 years. And then I got back into it, and it's gone crazy. And as you said a couple nights ago and tonight, you just don't have time to fish anymore because you're just busy but the product and the business.
So, I think that's really important, and it is a sacrifice, and our CFN community certainly understands that. When you see questions like was posed to Mike and I on Tuesday, have you been out fishing? And for Mike, I can honestly say he hasn't been out because he's been so busy editing, getting certain things ready for the CFN fish off. If I get out, it's for a totally different cause. It's to promote and do videos, nice promo pics for our partners in our community. So, it's a love for what we do that ultimately is the sacrifice, which is no different, Rick, than what you do, because obviously, as we mentioned with James, it is a sacrifice to pass that passion on that obviously is very deep rooted in yourself, as it is Mike and I. But it's something that for us doesn't go unnoticed, and that's why we're doing this. That's why Charles Durachi wanted that virtual trade show to have.
I'm going to cut you off there for a second. There,
you go right ahead.
Durachi. We're just going to hit the Durachi thing. It's Durachi. Durachi. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. All right,
yeah.
Charles. All these years I've been saying Durachi. It sounds like an expensive sports car, and that's what I think it does. So yeah. that's why I do that. Anyway, Chuck D. I will just say Chuck D. Works. Chuck D works right on.
Yeah.
So for everything that he has done for the community and helped, fellas like yourself, it's to why we do it. To his credit that we do it. Now, Devil's Rock. All of a sudden, you decided to create this company, and tell us a little bit about the history of Devil's Rock.
Devil's Rock is a local landmark. It's on Lake Temiskaming here. It's a 300 vertical foot drop down to the water, and it drops another 300 feet below the water surface. So in essence, the escarpment is 600 feet. It's a First Nations site is what it is. They call it Spirit Rock or Festive Rock. And it's well known to the locals. So I decided, you know what, let's call the business Devil's Rock to promote the area, not only just my business, but the area as well. And it's paid off amazing. So I get some people that they're not into fishing, but they want a hoodie that says Devil's Rock, send it to their kid that moved to Alberta, a little bit of hometown flair. And it's done very well.
Yeah. And that it does, it's got a catchy name. Beautiful logo, I might add as well. And you put it on a lot of the stuff that you have. You have knot tires, you have rod ties, you have a variety of stuff that you're able to embed your logo on, which I think is very smart and definitely catchy. Some of the product line that we were showing in the outset, you gear a lot of your stuff towards toothy critters. Is there a particular reason for that, or is it just because that's basically the fish that you're surrounded with up there?
Pretty much, yeah. Like I said, Lake Temiskaming is my lake to fish. And it's pretty much walleye. There's pike. There's the MNR says there's 30 different species in the lake. We're not too sure we got that number, but there's quite a few in there. So it's the target fish here in town would be the walleye. It's what I like fishing for. It's good eating fish as well. So, and it's fun.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, you're right, David Speaker. I do have a habit of butchering names, but walleye is one that I'll never butcher. As I said, it is my passion. I'm assuming you have some baits before you that you're going to hold up and show us when it comes to walleye. It has opened for most of us here in Ontario. It is May long weekend. And if there is something that we may not have in our tackle box that you would like to show us so that we know better that the next time, if not this weekend, maybe perhaps next weekend, we'll have with us that will allow us to catch our beloved walleye.
Yeah. Pretty much my focus has been on the walleye rigs here. Trying to get that in the camera.
Yeah.
There we go. So this one here is a Father's Day fishing.
Nice.
Colorado blade. And I put most of these on braided line because the toothy critters tend to attack them. We do a lot of those. We do a lot of custom work as well. Memorial lures for Grandpa that passed away. We do a lot of those. We put Grandpa's picture on it, the date that he passed, and people seem to take to that because then they get one more day with Grandpa at the lake. And it's an emotional time actually for myself tying the lures. Because you make a contact with the family, and then you see the picture of Grandpa or Uncle Eddie or whoever it is. It's a good feeling. So another product that we have is our angler soap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I gave some of that to you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's made with anise or anise, depending on how you want to say it, with charcoal. And there's a bunch of other chemicals. I shouldn't say chemicals, but Health Canada calls them chemicals. So that's what we have to call them. But it's all approved through Health Canada. So it's safe to use. And the angler soap isn't to get the smell of fish off your hands. It's to mask the smell of, say, tobacco, gasoline, suntan lotion, all those things that get on your hand. The fish do smell them. And I was asked just a couple days ago by Barry and Sally, they were here, and they were asking, how do fish smell? So I did a bit of research on it, and they do smell through their nose. Some fish have up to 5,000 sensors on each rosebud in their nose. It gets pretty technical, but yeah, the angler soap seems to work pretty good. I just take the bar of soap and I throw it in my tackle box, and it tends to permeate all the lures, and it works great. So another thing we've got, not so much for the walleye, but for the bass.
Beautiful.
So there's one there, and that's a quick sinking, so that'll drop pretty quick. Where's my other bigger guy here? I got a 6-inch side by side or side to side.
Wow.
So, and it's got some pretty nice eyeballs to it there.
I was going to say, tell us a little bit about the Wicked Ice. They're a special design, are they not?
They are. They're not my design, so I can't take credit for that. I could just take credit for it when I put them on properly, and that's about it for those guys. But these are all hand painted in the Devil's Den.
Wow.
A lot of my stuff is one-off. I try to do them the same, but because they're done by hand, it just doesn't always work out. But they end up turning out pretty darn good, and I get lots of requests for them. I usually save them for the different markets and vendor shows that I go to. They don't sell so well online and Facebook. It's when people actually get to see them in their hand, and they tend to move pretty good there.
Well, as I said, what we truly love about you, Ma and Pa tackle producers, is your hands-on approach, your grassroots approach to how you put your tackle together. Everything's hand-drawn, hand-painted, hand-tied. I think it's an element that is definitely gaining traction, especially, because of COVID and the supply chain breaking down. I know Devil's Rock was one that definitely took advantage of that. And with some of the tackle stores reaching out to local producers like yourself, saying, "If anything you got, give it to us. Our shelves are bare. Here's your chance to shine." And I know quite a few of you did. I have spoken to a couple that wish they had done so a little more. But at the end of the day, it's been your time to shine. And I've heard nothing but great stories. Tell us about how your year's been for Devil's Rock.
On the most part, it's been pretty good. A lot of people want to shop local. The governments of different levels have forced people, I guess you could say, into recreation again, into the easy times. And well, that's right up our alley. So the small town approach seems to work. The Colorado spinners that I make, now I do them for the small towns. I try to promote the really small towns. They might only have 200 people in the town. And that's what they're looking for, is stuff with their name on it to promote their area, have a bit of pride, and those move pretty good.
That's awesome. Well, as I said, you almost take it for granted that we have the ability to go out and enjoy the outdoors, and when it's impeded upon and restricted, that's when we really, I would say, take stock in how important it is to us, something that we may have just taken for granted because of how free we are. As soon as something like COVID hits, we recognize, whoa, maybe I shouldn't be taking it for granted. And you yearn to get out there, as I'm sure all of us are, to do so freely and enjoy it. A lot of folks are asking, if we wanted to purchase some of your products, some of our CFN community, where would they go to do so?
The best bet is to go on Facebook, follow our page. We've got different promotions on at different times. Most of our stuff is on there. Like I say, I do save a few extra special things for the markets, but most of our stuff is on our page. You can just visit the page and take a look.
Right on. So, Rick, Christina was asking about the jersey, and
Yeah.
I have to apologize because just before we went on live, Rick reminded me of this, and we are honored to have the CFN logo on Rick's Devils Rock jersey, and we are going to be doing an incredible giveaway for a winner on Monday, as we always do for live. But what I want you guys and gals to do in order to qualify, and Rick's going to tell us a little bit more about the jersey in a second. What we want you to do is tomorrow, when I post the pic that includes the logo of Devils Rock, as well as our next guest, Jerry, you will tag a store that you would like to see Devils Rock tackle in. So anybody, you've played this before, you've done this before, you've done a fantastic job, but we want to reach out and get some of those mom and pop shops to notice Devils Rock, to notice skunk fishing, and we're going to do that through our giveaway. Rick, tell us a little bit about the jersey.
Yeah, well, we started the jersey about a year ago. Because of COVID, things slowed down a little bit in our traction there. Some business was having some rough times there. So we just held off with it, and then we figured, okay, now it's time to get back into it. And I think we've got 20 different companies, advertisers on there, and we saved, I think, 5 or 6 spots specifically for nonprofits. So they weren't charged the fee to get on there. It was just to get their name on there, promote their organization. Especially, they do a lot of work for the fishing world, and they also promote my business as well. But it's just something to give back to them, and it's taken off very well. So the orders are going to be going in for those. I guess we're going to put it in Monday or Tuesday, and check out the page. It's the jerseys are on there as well, and have a look.
We will make sure that we do exactly that. We'll tag the Facebook page. So if anybody wants to order some Devils Rock tackle, or perhaps maybe a jersey, but keep in mind tomorrow you will see the jersey that Rick is talking about, because we will post it. And then in the comments below, make sure you tag a Monpaw tackle store, general store that you would love to see some Devils Rock in, that maybe isn't there, or maybe it is there and you want to just give a shout out. Either way, that's how you qualify. Rick, before we go, are there any specials that you wanted to bring to light that the community would love to know if they are looking to purchase some of your product, and where to go to get it?
Right now, most of our distributors are closed just because of the restrictions. We do have the North Cobalt Flea Market, which is just down the road from my place. We've got JST Variety in Englehart as well. The Latchford Dam Depot. Latchford's the home of the world's smallest covered bridge. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know if it's worth the drive, but check it out anyways. Yeah, so right there, sales have been a little bit slow for some places. So it's hard to get the product in the hands of the angler unless we go to the corner stores, the little souvenir shops. Then we can get the product to our customers.
Right on. Sean Forte is asking, what is your top seller? If you had a top seller, what would it be?
Oh, Sean, I don't know if I should tell you this or not. I spent some time in Timmins there, so I would say it's probably my custom walleye rigs, the Colorados, the Indianas, the Willow Leafs. Yeah, probably my number one seller. I did have some dinner bells. Those move pretty good, but they're hard to get. It was one of those products that I don't make. But I can tell you this, I am working on something very, I won't say similar, but we'll use similar, what the heck, to the dinner bell. A little bit different design, and we're hoping to get that out in the next 2 months before winter hits. So
that's awesome. Well, listen, I'm not sure who this is, but to this Facebook user, I couldn't agree more. Great company, Rick. You're a great guy. Love his stuff, and we love the support that Devils Rock Tackle gives to our CFN community, and of course the CFN Fish Off, which is hopefully going to be starting very soon. That
Yes.
Rick has mentioned that he wants to be a part of.
Yep.
As I mentioned to our guest, what we're probably going to do, Mike and I have already talked about it, and we will post a link very similar to this. We'll just put up the provincial logo. And what I'd like is for companies that are interested in becoming prize participants to just tag their name, or we'll have people tag their name. But for the province of Ontario, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be an awful lot. And as I said, on behalf of our community, Rick, I honestly can't thank you enough for everything that you've done. You've given folks like Brandy Eaton a platform through which she can be an ambassador to your brand, and does a fantastic job for both our communities.
Yes, she's done as well.
Yeah, it's a match made in heaven, and we're glad to have all of you a part of it. Stay tuned tomorrow for the post where you're going to get a chance to win a Devil's Rock inaugural jersey.
Yes.
Right on. Listen, thanks so much, Rick. Appreciate it. You have yourself a great night, and we will be in touch, my friend.
Right on. Have a great night.
Stay classy. Well, we're lucky, as always, to have James, Rick, and our community of partners, because they make this what it is. And without them, we wouldn't be where we are. So we're doing this thanks to Chuck D for his inspiring idea of the virtual trade show, and giving a platform through which our partners can, pump their tires and get to know our community, and we can get to know them, because James is an awesome guy. I was happy for everyone to meet him, and for those who know Rick, you know that he's a down-to-earth person as well. Last but not least, my good friend, new friend, Jerry YAMCHUK, and I'm going to bring him on right now from Skunked Fishing. How you doing, Jerry?
I'm doing great. How are you, Scotty?
Right on. And you are from the province of Saskatchewan, correct?
Yes, I live in a little town just outside of Yorkton called Saltcoats.
Right on. And that's the logo. If anybody hasn't seen it, Skunk Fishing is the logo. It is quite a story. And I'm going to get Jerry to tell it right now, what this all means, where it all came from. And I'm hoping he's going to do as good of a job as he did for me, for you, because I'll tell you, it is quite the story. You go ahead, my friend.
Thanks for putting me on the spot, Scotty. I'm Jerry YAMCHUK, and the story, kids and I were out camping at one of the lakes by us here, Good Spirit, and we wake up at 5 a.m. to catch the early fish off, and we got out in the water. We do our routine every time, and we caught our fish. We were leaving the boat launch, got back to the camp. We saw another boat going in, and it was a family of 5, and there was 2 boys, a girl, and the mom and dad, and we said good luck, have a good time on the water, and we carried on with our day. And the next morning we went out and we saw them coming off the water before us. I'm like, wow, they got up earlier than us. And we asked the little boy, I said, how was the fishing? And he said, we didn't catch anything, we got skunked. And my boy's like, better luck next time, champ. And my boy, being 8 years old at the time, was an enthusiast and an angler, and he's learning. And we went out, we did our fishing, and we came off the water. And again, we went and enjoyed our day. And the next day we came out and we saw them again. And I'm like, the faces, the look on their face, it's just, they're not happy or excited about waking up in the morning. And so I shared my secret, Scotty. And I told them, I said, there's a stone pile about a mile up the north shore on the left. And I told them, once you see the stone pile, drop a chartreuse bottom bouncer, put on a spinner rig, use leeches this morning. They weren't biting on minnows, and you guys will catch fish. So we carried on with our day, and we went to the sand dunes and swam, and got back to our campsite about 4:30 in the afternoon, and we heard these voices, and they're screaming, and they noticed our boats. I have a red and silver boat that I restored, and I had Papa's Dream on the side, and this little kid came racing into the campground and skidded his bike tires, and rocks went everywhere. And he's like, sir, we caught fish. Thank you. And just a mile a minute, this kid was just excited, and his brother and his sister were just ear to ear. The smile there, and it actually gave me a smile, and I was like, wow. Their mom and dad came about 3 minutes behind them because they were all on their bikes, and then they said, you know, we looked all over, and Good Spirit's got a pretty big campground, and they ended up finding us, and they said thank you. We did the old fist pump, and you know, we had a chance to make new friends, and all I had to do was share one tiny secret, and it was our favorite spot, and we changed their lives. And so the kids ran off to the park with my kids, and I was able to actually meet these, you know, good people and make new friends. So I just wanted to share that because it's one of those things nobody really likes to share a secret and have other people, you know, pull fish out of your spot. But I ended up doing that, and it paid off because I turned that family into an angling family, and the smiles that I got from those kids was priceless.
Well, you know what? Listen, that's it. We're done. Great story. You hit it out of the park. Yeah, you did a fantastic job. But really, at the end of the day, it's not often that, you know, folks will share a spot like that. It's a rock pile, a very productive rock pile, one that you found yourself. Maybe somebody told you, but you like to keep those gems, those little honey holes, secret. And, you know, for what it did and how it affected you, that's why you do it. That's why all of us do it. That's why all of us try to teach folks how to catch fish, because at the end of the day, the easiest way to have that passion infect other people is to get them on fish. And as much, because it's as you and I were saying, Jerry, to a 10 to a 12-year-old, they don't necessarily understand the whole experience, right? They don't necessarily understand that it's about sitting in a boat, enjoying the outdoors, you know, the wind in your face, the sun on your skin, you know, just enjoying being out on the water. Because really, for a lot of us, that's what it is. That's why we love doing it. Obviously, we love to catch fish too, but we have, through our years of doing it, understood that there's more to it than just catching fish. And but for young folks who are just learning, getting them on fish is key, and you did exactly that. And based on, you know, are you guys still close with that family?
We've actually met once again out at the campground, but last year because of COVID, they had the parks closed and stuff. So I did kind of lose sight of them, you know, just for the reasons that we're all away from our families and our friends right now, right? So I'm hoping I can reacquaint myself with them this summer. But again, we're still dealing with these restrictions with COVID-19, and you know, it's one of those things where, you know, we are friends on Facebook. I just got to reach out and, you know, get that passion back and get on the water with them. So absolutely, I want to do that. And I mean, but last year with the camping seasons and stuff, like, you know, that the capacities were lowered. So there was a lot of things that played in part with trying to get out and get on the water. So I'm hoping this year is definitely different.
And Jerry, I will say, unfortunately, there is a bit of a static in the mic. And why I'm saying that is because if anybody wants to reach out to Jerry in regards to his story, his journey, I invite you to do so. This is his website for where all of his skunked fishing swag is available. But the story doesn't end there. It doesn't end at the rock pile or the kids skidding into the park and kicking up stones. It doesn't end there. So not only have we started skunked fishing as an apparel line, but you've taken it one step further, that not only are you looking to help out communities like CFN, and we want to thank Walter for bringing you to CFN like he did, as he does all the time. Great legacy members that I have. I'm blessed to have such great legacy members doing exactly that. But Walter, he heard your story. And the whole premise behind skunk fishing isn't just that story you just told, but it's also about planting trees and making our environment even better than it already is. So tell us what you're doing with skunk fishing to give back to our environment.
So to add to the story that we were talking about, my kids and I always go out in the boat. We do the same thing every time. We leave the launch, we shut the boat off, we rig up, we get everything set up, then we start the motor, we engage it, and we start trolling. So there was my daughter, she actually said, "Daddy, this is like stop, drop, and troll." And that slogan kind of hit hard, you know. like, wow, that would be fun to have on a shirt, or you know, something like to that extent. And are you hearing me okay, Scotty? Is it better?
Yeah. There's a little bit of static, but other folks are saying that there isn't, so it's good to go.
Okay, no, I moved my laptop back a little bit there. So anyways, yeah, we ended up doing the stop, drop, and troll, and I was like, wow, like Sienna, that's my daughter's name. I'm like, that is catchy. I want to do that. And then we were fishing out at the lake, and we ended up getting snagged on a log. And my boy, he's like, Daddy, this is like stop, drop, and pull, because we're yanking on the rod trying to untangle that. So that's kind of the addition to the story. So I wanted to have a shirt that actually said it and represented what my kids were doing. So we ended up drawing some pictures, and my kids, I actually have some here. I'll just show people a couple of the things here that my kids drew, which we actually turned into different logos. So here's the guy with the stringer full, and you know, my kids drew all of these, and then I ended up just trying to make some logos out of them. And you know, that passion that I have with my kids and, you know, the community, I actually wanted to go one step further, and I ended up phoning the Fish and Wildlife Development Fund to talk to them about my program and get my name out there, because I wanted to see how they stock lakes in Saskatchewan. There's over 140 lakes that get stocked every year, and the biologists work very hard out of Regina, Saskatoon, PA. You know, they do different watersheds, and you know, they do samples. And I actually talked to one of the biologists and told him my story, and I said I wanted to actually help with the fishery, and for every piece of clothing that I sell through Skunked Fishing, we were going to donate back to the fund. And he was mind boggled. He's like, we've never ever experienced this before. Nobody's ever wanted to donate back. Good for you. And so that's my goal, and I want to share that with everybody here in Saskatchewan and all across Canada, and just let them know, like, my passion for sustaining fishing and being able to give back to the fisheries. I am 100% donating a percentage of all of the goods that I sell through the Skunked Fishing store back to the fund. And it's been incredible to meet you and Walter. And I actually have to give a shout out to Tanya Jones with Tourism Saskatchewan. She hooked me up with Daryl, and you know, the family just started right then and there. And now here I am face to face with you, Scotty, and we're doing this live, and everything's just exploded over the last 2 weeks. And I've been working at this for a couple of years, but again, I'm not Facebook savvy, I'm not marketing savvy. So I actually hired my first employee. She's been helping with all the promos and all the stuff with the store and Facebook and Instagram. And it's just been an awesome experience. And to be a part of a group like CFN, I am thrilled.
Well, you have inspired me, and we've come out with a new product line ourselves. And based on what you have said, we have our new signature series hoodies that we have premiered on CFN as we did, and the great folks at one last cast, I should say, have come out with the first walleye, and we are going to donate $1 back to your program, Skunked Fishing, for every hoodie that we sell. So you've inspired us, my friend, and I think what you're doing is absolutely fantastic. Now, if somebody wanted to know a little bit more about your apparel and what you have available, obviously they can go to the website, but give us an idea of what they would see if they go there.
Right now we have over 163 products. We have everything from kids, babies, all the way up to adults. You know, hats, water bottles, you name it, we have it. Everything's customizable. I did a couple tutorials and posted them on the Facebook page, on my Skunked Fishing page, on how to, you know, customize everything and make it your own. And I think that was really important to get out today, because with the fish off coming up, you know, we got team names, we got other people who are registering as we speak. You know, if you want to support the cause and help donate back to the stocking program in Saskatchewan, I would love to just keep going and, you know, help out through all of Canada and you know, set this program up in Ontario and Manitoba, Alberta, BC, because I'm originally from Alberta. And my story started with fly fishing. My uncle taught me how, and my grandfather brought me out to Kananaskis Lakes when I was a kid. You know, and we just grew as a fishing family, and I loved it. And my friends and I would we would go fly fishing anywhere and everywhere, and like there's no fishing here, and we would put on our pale morning gun, fly, and we would pull out a brook trout or a rainbow. You know what I mean? I just the stuff that people would just drive by every single day and not even know. So I want to bring that community together, and everything we got, like we have eco-friendly stuff, we have organic stuff. It's trying to help out with all the clothing for women, men, babies. One of the very first kids that were involved in our skunk fishing was my friend's niece, and there was a baby bib, and she got it right dirty from eating supper that day. And it's one of those things that puts a smile on your face, right? So yeah, if you check out the store, you have any questions at all, you can send a message and I can help you guide through it. And when we do this giveaway that you were talking about with Rick and James, I am so excited to be on board, and I want to sponsor the fish off and get everybody out there. And one of the biggest things is just making sure that we have fun. And you speak of that a lot, Scotty, and
Jerry,
for your charismatic nature of how you present everything fishing.
Listen, folks like you make it easy. As I say, our partners, those who support us, those, you guys are all a part of a foundation and a family. And I'll tell you, for every block, for every new person, company, whatever we meet, is yet another brick in the wall, as they say. And that wall is becoming extremely strong. And our family is growing in numbers, and we look after our own. And Jerry, we consider you definitely part of that family, even though we've just gotten to know you. Your passion is it's so compelling. My Lord, it's infectious, to say the least. And to give back to a community, for a company that is as young in its infamy as it is. Dude, is a true testament to the kind of person you are, and you've certainly inspired us here at CFN, and our signature series hoodie, which we have made available just in the past week. $1 is going to go back to donate back to your cause, and hopefully we can help some of the groups, because let's face it, the Saskatchewan Sportfish Research Program and that group of incredible people and the work they do is just like, if any which way we could be a part of that in a small way, I'm in. Giving back to the fishery, lots of great groups, lots of great people, lots of great efforts in the province of Saskatchewan when it comes to sustaining and maintaining your fishery. If CFN could be a part of that, I'm in. So giving back and doing what you're doing, bud, we will support you in any way we possibly can. Just keep up the great work. But as you mentioned, you wanted to become a part of the CFN Fish Off, and Mike and I will be posting up the logo, the chapter logos that Walter's put together. We'll be doing so, and you're going to see skunk fishing there, because we want to have provincially motivated prizes. And Jerry right here is going to be spearheading that with, I'm sure, a bunch of companies from the great province of Saskatchewan that are going to jump on board for our Saskatchewan participants. Absolutely. But in the meantime, he's going to be doing a giveaway for our CFN community as the same as Rick. When you see Rick's jersey from Devil's Rock, when you see that skunkedfishing.ca logo that I am about, I'm going to put it up here right now. There it is. When you see that logo tomorrow, I want you to tag as many stores that you would love to see skunked fishing swag and apparel in. And we want it to be mom and pop stores, general stores. No offense to the big box stores, but this is our day. This is our time. And the virtual trade show at Chuck D presented to both Bill and I, this is what it's all about. It's grassroots, small mom and pop type appeal shops and tackle makers, producers, apparel companies, swag producers, whatever. It's all about you folks. And when you see that, Jerry's going to offer up some skunk fishing to our community.
Yeah, so this right here, you could probably see on my hats. This is the skunk actually dumping fish back out of your live well back in the water. So it's one of those things where, to give back, I wanted to make sure that I had this. And speaking with the fund, I spoke to Matt Thierry. He's the manager out of Saskatoon, and they're not allowed to give me information on where and when they're stocking lakes, but I've was able to sneak a couple different locations close to home here. So I am going to try and do a video and upload it here on CFN through the Saskatchewan chapter, as well as my page of fingerlings getting put into lakes. And I want to be a part of that and, you know, be able to, you know, fist pump the guy and just say, you know, great cause. And this is why I'm here, and, you know, do a short video for everyone in all of Saskatchewan, just to see what we're doing and how we're moving forward on helping the fund. And yeah, with every angler that purchases a fishing license and goes through the HAL, they only use 30% for their funding, because that's how they are able to keep the fund going. So if I can give back and help out with that, it's gonna just transcend over the entire, you know, until I'm gone. And then I want my kids to make sure that they understand the importance of it and just keep on rocking with it. So it never ends. Fishing is always something that we do.
No, it doesn't. As long as there's fish, as long as there's water, there will always be the passion for angling. And it sounds like Daryl would like to share another day out in the water with you. Jerry, he's asking when you guys are going to go out fishing, and I look forward to seeing the pics when you guys do eventually get out. In the meantime, I want to thank Bill and Steve for posting up all the links. This is the Facebook link for skunk fishing, and I know, Steve, you posted the website. So if you're looking to purchase any of the skunk fishing swag, where is it? Oh, Steve, yeah, there it is. Steve posted it right up at the top. skunkfishing.ca. Go have a look. There's all kinds of great stuff on there, whether it be t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve shirts. I just think it's great that you've involved your kids when it comes to the design of it. Your heart's definitely in the right place, because you're looking to take some of the proceeds and put it back into the fishing. I tell you, it's a great initiative that you are embarking on, bud, and we are proud to say that you are a part of our incredible community and family.
Oh, thank you very much. And just something that I just built this here is one of the eco-friendly boat bags that I did. And this logo right here, it's glow in the dark. So
no way.
Even like it glows in the dark. I will actually show it on my page so that everybody can actually see it. And we have these new cinch backpacks for the kids as well. It's got this drawstrings. And we have our scuba skunk right here. You know, it's for the kids. If you want to go to the beach or go for a day of fishing, they can fill it full of snacks and water, whatever the kids want to put on the boat when they go out, so they're not bored and saying, oh, we're not catching anything, right? Because one of the biggest things, too, I want to make people aware of is my skunk, his name is Audie. And we named him that because Audie is, in Greek Latin, is the protector of all. So by sharing a secret with one person in your entire lifetime, and you can outsmart my skunk and catch fish, well, it's catch-22, right? Here we're trying to fill the live well and the stringers, and my skunk's trying to protect the fish and put them back in the lake for every season so we can enjoy. And yeah, I just want to say thanks again to you and everybody who's been involved with this. It's been just a huge pleasure, and yeah, I am speechless, Scotty. I'm just doing what I can, and I want to get out on the water. And to answer Daryl's question is, if we don't see snow tomorrow morning, buddy, I'm gonna try and get out on Saturday with the kids, because they've been calling for 5 centimeters in Saskatchewan here, and it's like, oh no, we had 31 degrees on Tuesday, and we're at 4 degrees right now with rain. So it could happen that we get snow tomorrow morning, maybe on weekend special, right?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to leave with a comment from David, which is extremely apropos. This is the first time being skunk fishing is a good thing. Thanks so much, Jerry, for being a part of us and joining us and telling us your story. As I said, you've infected us all again tonight for the passion for angling and giving back to our community. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Scotty, and thank you, the CFN. Everybody be safe and get out on the water as much as you can.
Right on, buddy. Well done. All righty. Thanks so much for all of you for joining us. This is yet another episode of TNT Thursdays. Next week, we are going to have the pleasure of having our good friend Cameron Tate on to do another recipe for us. Not 100% sure what that recipe is going to be be right yet, but I do know it is going to be delicious. So stay tuned. Next Thursday, Camera Tate will be joining us for yet another TNT Thursday recipe, Cooking with CFN, and we look forward to you folks joining us. In the meantime, we wish you nothing but the best. Stay safe, and we will see you, of course, on Monday. Enjoy your May long weekend. Hopefully the fish will be with you, and the weather is with you as well. You know, I hear all kinds of snow falling out on our Western CFNers. I don't envy you that, but for all of you, hopefully you get on the water and you enjoy a great weekend. You all deserve it. You take care. All the best.